Hello, this is Joshua for Frost Dragon Designs, and today I'd like to talk to you about my D20 challenge coin. So let's get into the design. Now, I'm calling this a challenge coin. You could just call it a coin. Challenge coins have a rich history in military culture, which I would encourage you to, read about. It's very interesting. But in this case, I really just mean challenge as in we can use this in our tabletop role-playing games for kind of binary decisions where it's either a great outcome or a really horrible outcome. Think of it as like a D2. And so with that in mind, as I was, coming up with the idea for this coin, I was thinking, well, what's like the best outcome that can happen in D&D? Like you win, like you get loot, you get treasure, you defeated the bad guy, you're in charge now. And I chose to represent that in a couple ways on the one side of the coin. You'll see the pile of treasure. It's mostly gold coins, but we also have a sword that'll eventually come, and a crown, and just kind of symbolisms of leadership, power, wealth, things that you would probably accumulate in a successful RPG campaign. The other side is death. It's skulls, it's bones, it's kind of a weird smoke, it's darker, it's visually darker than the other side. And so those were kind of the two concepts that I went into designing this with. Now, the design process itself for a coin is very similar to an enamel pin. We need a vector file, something that our production partners can feed into their CNC machinery to make our mold that will then be used to make the physical coins. But it's kind of like we only have two colors to work with. We have the raised metal, which will be a brighter, shinier color. And then we have the recessed metal, which is where an antiqued patina will make it appear darker. So we don't need to worry about anything other than just the light color and the dark color. We don't have to worry about making sure our lines make filled in cells because there's not going to be any enamel to fill in with. And for this specific coin design, I'm not doing any actual 3D sculpted elements. This is literally just raised or lowered sections. It's my first coin. If it goes well, I might try something a bit fancier next time. But I'm pretty happy with this general look. And as you're watching this, you'll be able to see I've kind of imported some elements from other designs that I've made, pin designs. The pile of coins started out as the coins from my St. Patrick's Day cat pin. I took the sword off of my D20 ferret pin. The skull was lifted right off of my flaming skull pin that I did in my early days of Frost Dragon. And all of these things needed to be adjusted to some degree or another, but I think that really just kind of helped speed up the design process for me. I also, as a nod to the D20 that's in the center of both sides, I have a Roman numeral for 1 and a Roman numeral for 20 on the coins. Amusingly, at one point, I had those backwards. I had the 1 on the good side and the 20 on the bad side, but I made sure that was fixed before I sent this off to my production partner. I'd also like to give a special shout out to my Latin-loving son who pointed out that it should have been bonum and malum as our good and bad on the coins, not malus, as is seen in most of this video. I'm really happy with how these turned out. I couldn't decide whether I wanted them in gold or silver, so I went ahead and I did both. The finished coins have a nice heft in your hand. They're 4 millimeters thick. It's a pretty thick coin. That's actually thicker than 2 US quarters stacked on top of each other. So I hope you've enjoyed this design process. Please go ahead, like and subscribe. I will have new design videos every week for different things that I'm creating. Have a great week and try not to TPK. That's total party kill. That's where everybody dies. You start over. Maybe start a new campaign.